This is the Royal Marines School of Music, Portsmouth, the prestigious training establishment for the Royal Marines Band Service. Musicians study here for up to 3 years to earn a place in one of the world-renowned Royal Marines bands.
Welcome to Portsmouth.
For candidates trying to join this elite group of musicians, they must audition and compete for a place during a week of intense musical and physical tests.
It's going to be a very demanding week. I'm sure you're all prepared for that already.
There's not another job like it. It is like a one-of-a-kind kind of job.
Following candidates through the selection process, they'll gain an insight into life as a military musician.
It's something that I've wanted for a long time. It's been on my mind for the past few years.
They'll be worked hard and must show how much they want a career in this military band. But not all will make the grade.
There's no point giving somebody a job that they're not capable of doing.
It really has made me realise that it's everything that it's what I want to do. If I don't get in, I would definitely cry.
I'm afraid it's not good news today.
Cry there, cry at the time, cry on the way back to the block, cry on the train back.
There are some that give absolutely everything to the point where they're physically exhausted and can't carry on, which is absolutely fine. It means that they've shown us exactly how hard they're willing to go to be here.
Those who win a place in one of the finest military bands in the world gain a star-studded career performing across the globe.
It's literally amazing. It's one of a kind.
We'd like to offer you a place starting in September.
You run like Bambi on ice.
I don't know what other career you could get which combines music and sport and all the adventure training.
It means a lot, this job. It's something that I've wanted for a long time.
I want this job, and more like I need this job.
An integral part of the city since 1194, Her Majesty's Naval Base Portsmouth is the largest seafaring establishment in the British Isles and home to the new Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carrier. Housed in a former Royal Navy detention quarters within the base is the home of training for the Royal Marines Band Service, the Royal Marines School of Music. It is here that the future musicians of the bands of Her Majesty's Royal Marines train and study for up to 3 years before joining a professional Royal Marines band. This week, 21 aspiring musicians and buglers have come to the school to compete for a place in the Royal Marines Band Service. Under the watchful eye of the Director of Music Training, Major Hugh Williams, they will need to impress from day one.
It's going to be a very demanding week. I'm sure you're all prepared for that already, because we need to see not only what your abilities are on your instruments, what your musical, academic skills are like, how fit you are and all that kind of thing, but we also need to see what you're like as characters.
18-year-old Adrienne, a school leaver and now a shop floor assistant at her local garden centre, whose brother is a Royal Marine Commando, can think of nothing else but performing in a Royal Marines band.
I saw the Royal Marines band when my brother was passing out, and that inspired me a lot more as well to think that's be a really cool job to be in. There's not another job like it. It is like a one-of-a-kind kind of job.
Be prepared to find the edge of your comfort zone and push beyond it. That's what we really want to see, is not just how fit you are, but how far you're prepared to push yourself.
It would mean everything to me. Like my whole life would be sorted really, like my whole career. Especially with the degree as well. That would be insane as well.
Alongside Adrienne is 18-year-old Jack, a cricket-loving French horn player from Torquay in Devon.
It's something that I've wanted for a long time. It's been on my mind for the past few years, leading up to this, in terms of doing, music exams, even school exams. They all lead up to a big picture. So if this audition goes well, then I can say to myself, I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve for a long time.
Make the most of it. Hopefully for some of you this is the start of a very exciting journey in the Royal Marines Band Service. You will have to dig out, as we say.
The opportunities you get, you don't get anywhere else. Quite a lot of people are joining up just because if you're a musician as a civilian, you never get any of these opportunities. This job means everything.
Try your very, very hardest to impress us and show us that you're worthy. Good luck.
Adrienne and Jack are applying to join one of the United Kingdom's best military bands, Travelling far and wide, they would be performing to royalty, dignitaries, and heads of state all around the globe. This week is make or break for their future careers. It's day one, and before any music starts, candidates are straight onto the running track.
First thing that they do what's called a BFT, basic fitness test, that involves press-ups, sit-ups and a 1.5 mile troop run followed by a 1.5 mile best effort. For auditionees, it's something for us to be able to gauge their preparedness for future military training.
You're all against each other. It's okay to be friends as soon as you've finished, but this is a best effort, each and every person going as hard as they can.
When we went off to go and do it, we were just like, oh God, I'm not ready. We all just kind of stood there like, I'm not ready for this at all.
3, 2, 1.
It went on to the troop run and then your best effort run. So it was 1.5 mile running in a troop with the PTI staff.
Come on then, find the person in front and overtake them.
It was quite challenging, but you know, I managed to pass it in good time, so I was happy with that.
It was good. I passed. Troop one made the 1.5 mile run a lot harder.
There were people that did really well and people that may not have found it as easy to do these kinds of movements.
Can't really stress enough that you do need to prepare for it.
A week of musical, physical and mental tests await Adrian and Jack to see if they have what it takes for a career in the Royal Marines Band Service.
We're looking for a musician that shows a lot of potential, somebody who shows that they've got the flexibility and the preparedness to learn. We're very often looking for somebody who's got the ability to take up an instrument from scratch. We're also looking for people who are physically fit and suitable for service life, quite a wide range of skills really and qualities.
The next morning, candidates prepare for the first round of auditions on both the instrument they play and ones they don't. First in is Adrienne, and she's immediately put on edge with an oboe audition, an instrument she does not play.
The only time I'm confident is when I'm like in my own room, like just playing to myself. So I just get really I think it's just stage fright, I'm not even joking. I just get really nervous playing to people. So that one.
That one. That's lovely. So hold it up, kind of. Yeah, that looks nice. 45 degrees-ish. And same thing. Oh, lovely. That was a lovely positive sound that popped out there. Very nice.
The candidates come playing their own instruments, but also try out others so that their natural musicality can be gauged, but also to see if they show potential on another instrument.
Ah, you have a miscalling in life. You're definitely meant to be an oboe. Lovely. Let's go back up to B.
These auditions, which have both a civilian professor and a military instructor present, is a chance for Adrienne to be observed and assessed on her musical, oral and sight reading skills.
Yeah, good, lovely.
Lasting 20 minutes each, all of the candidates will have multiple auditions, as well as a formal oral and elements exam to test their musical knowledge.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, that was good, yeah.
Next up is French horn player Jack.
I want to try and show off what I can do, sort of thing.
Welcome.
I'm Jack, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Ed.
So in my assessments, first of all, on your own instrument, I play a piece that you've prepared, and then you go into a bit of sight reading. They may ask you some scales. It was a nice eye-opener.
Right, I'm going to stop you just there.
Okay.
That's very good.
Yep.
So, first of all, what I would do is first let's sort
Oh, yeah.
that.
Yes.
So,
Even with years of practice, French horn professor Ed Lockwood discovers Jack has a bad habit with the position of his right hand. With his hand position corrected, Jack keeps reverting back to his old habit.
Yeah, I was slipping in back into that habit there.
that's it. Lovely, lovely. So bring your hand
Without
up.
attempting to fix it, there's a chance it could affect the outcome of his audition.
So you
I'd
do
love
that.
to be in the horn category. That's my main instrument, which I've played for years and years now.
As trainees work towards passing out or graduating from the School of Music, they take part in a host of ensembles, including parade band, concert band and orchestra. They receive an hour's lesson each week from a civilian professor as well as a military instructor to hone the more specialist military side of the job.
We've already done the national anthem, so you'll be up at the ready anyway. So anthem's finished, it's now Heart of Oak.
For brass players in the Royal Marines, many come from the world of competitive brass bands. 18-year-old Emily, a tenor horn player currently in Stannington Brass Band, is one such hopeful. Although the Royal Marines do not use tenor horns, Emily knows if successful, she would have to learn a new instrument.
It's a brass band instrument, it's not a marching band instrument, it's not an orchestral instrument, anything like that. And I'd need to be trained up on something else to march with. But I'm open to horn, French horn that is. I just felt like I could really get into that.
Emily knows she can't join up on the tenor horn, but she has another trick up her sleeve. She's also an accomplished pianist.
Thank you very much.
I never really felt the attraction of university. I understand why people go there, but it never really appealed to me. And I wanted to sort of get a break from the sort of school atmosphere, that sort of thing, and get into work and doing something different.
Auditions carry on for the rest of the day, but it won't be until the end of the week that they find out if they've passed.
It's called a determination test, and it is purely to see how determined these people are to be here.
The determination test was a bit of a different ball game. You push yourself physically if you go to the gym or anything.
Yellow top down there, not going to watch him, watch pink top.
It's a different sort of atmosphere.
So it's a case of putting them in a very uncomfortable position, putting them in something that most of them would never have experienced before, and seeing how they cope with it. Yellow mats, come on, sprint. Yellow top, you are not sprinting. Come on, don't start loafing. This is not 110% effort.
Corporal Solomon, did you tell this young man to rest?
Absolutely not, Sergeant.
Squat! Let's go! On your feet!
Faster, faster. Bosh, bosh, bosh.
Go! I've told you to go, so move!
That's it, good depth, fast. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
It's intense, but it's so rewarding at the end, more so than what you have to go through. So yeah, it's good fun in a weird way.
The whole night before, we're all just like, we've got physical tests today, I can't do it, I can't do it. When everyone was speaking about it, it just made us more nervous. I think physically we should, like, especially me, I feel like I should have done a bit more, but I passed it, so it's not the end of the world.
Faster, let's move!
It's not a case of making sure that they can do everything, and there's not necessarily a pass-fail criteria. It's how we come away viewing their determination and effort that they put into it. Some people like to try and hold back a bit, which we don't like. So what are you doing? Get your knees up to your chest. There are some that will give absolutely everything to the point where they're physically exhausted and can't carry on, which is absolutely fine. It means that they've shown us exactly how hard they're willing to go to be here. You better not be sick on us again, all right? And if you are, where are you going to do it? Down your top, good.
We'd eaten breakfast about an hour before, and it did end up coming back up. But it is what it is, it happens. Not my finest moment, but it's okay.
How are they doing?
Yeah, not overly impressed. Just a lot of loafing. If they do things quicker, it's more impressive. It's going to be painful no matter what, so it doesn't really matter.
The determination test is a relentless 45 minutes to see how physically and mentally tough the candidates are. Even when they get to the end of the test, they are still being evaluated by being told they're going to run the bleep test for a third time, just to see how they react.
What we're going to do now, Solomon just setting the bleep test up, we're going to go one more time, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to beat your last score. Okay, everyone happy with that?
Yes, sir.
Is everybody happy with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm only joking, so if you grab the mats.
But yeah, all of us got through it, and it's something which gives us a good idea of what's coming up.
Everyone was fine really, so it wasn't, I think people, we all just stressing, but there's no need to stress about it. If you're chilled, you'll be fine.
Yeah, they're not too bad. There's a few people standing out for good reasons, a few standing out for bad.
As well as musicians, buglers are also trained at the Royal Marines School of Music and are an integral part of the Royal Marines Band Service, originating back to being the oldest branch in the Royal Marines. Bugle Major Russ Piner is in charge of recruiting new buglers into this historic branch.
Everything we do in the Royal Marines Buglers branch is all done from memory. So we would never go out and play with a piece of music. We'd always commit it to memory. Within a short space of time, maybe 2 minutes, we get them to try and memorise a simple pattern. And it's quite interesting for us to see how they've done that, how they go around committing it to memory of what techniques they've used, if they've noticed any patterns.
Did you do with anyone?
Another test we do is a pulse test. We have a track in the background, and as it goes on, it kind of syncopates, it cuts out, and whether they can keep maintaining that steady pulse throughout.
That's it.
Very good.
Nice. You got it. Okay, cool.
Mistake, but very good.
With the auditions now over, it's time for the candidates to jump into the deep end, as all Royal Marines should be as competent in water as they are on land.
Jumping off the diving board was good fun in overalls. That's always the highlight of it all. But yeah, the swimming test, nothing to worry about really if you're a good swimmer.
After jumping off the diving board, treading water, and swimming in military clothes, it's time for a surprise physical circuit that was more than the candidates were expecting.
You will do press ups until your partner returns. Number 1, stand by. You're going to swim to the other side and climb out. Did I say stop the squat? Keep going. When I say go, you will jump in and jump out continuously for 30 seconds. Stand by. 3, 2, 1, go! In and out, let's go! This is only holding just a fraction of your body weight. You need to be able to do this.
Knackered. No, it's good. It was good. It was right. It could be a lot worse.
Bit of a surprise, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, it was good. Good little insight to see what comes up at Limpston.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we think that went? Awful.
Physical training instructor Iona Mannering hoped to see a better performance.
A lot of them showing weak upper body, but we've already touched on how they can improve that with their training booklets. Definitely out of their comfort zone compared to being on a track at the school with the circuit training, but that's what it's going to be like in the pool.
Keep your eyes on the bandmaster!
It takes 3 years to train and become a Royal Marines musician, so it must be made sure that the candidates who succeed this week have what it takes to complete military and music training. At the end of the week, each hopeful is measured up in a final interview with the Director of Music, and Adrienne is up first.
Right, so I'm Major Williams, I'm the Director of Music Training. We're looking for a musician that that shows a lot of potential. Could you just put into your own words why the Royal Marines Band Service?
Because it's the best band in the world. No.
Apart from that.
I just felt like if I wanted to become a better musician, I felt like I'm more suited to training here than I am at the Army or the RAF.
It's going to be a lot more than what you've done. How do you think you would cope with that kind of level?
Yeah, I think I would struggle a little bit, but it's just one of those things, you just need to get through it. Thank you, sir.
Adrienne's honesty over her personal struggles this week has the panel worried.
Thank you.
She seems to underrate herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's quite nice to see in a way, but you can think, come on, fly your own flag a little bit. But I think oboe sounds
yeah,
pretty good.
I'll do candidate.
Next up is Devon lad Jack, who failed to make a good impression in his French horn audition.
He never wanted to make any effort, even with Prof's guidance, to change these. His sound was very thin, his range very limited, his embouchure needs a complete remodel, and his breathing needs substantial work.
Major Williams and his team are concerned Jack has too many performance issues on the French horn to have a successful career.
A little bit nervous because I want to show what I can hopefully do. But yeah, hopefully it goes well. Yeah. It means a lot, this job. It's something that I've wanted for a long time. It's been on my mind for the past few years. Music exams, even school exams, they all lead up to a big picture, and the big picture is being here on this audition.
Good. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there because we've got to see lots of other people.
Okay, great.
Though the panel like Jack's attitude and talent, his ability on the French horn is in question.
It is what it is. It has to be competitive, otherwise anybody can do it. So some of them have clearly done interviews before. Some of them were, well prepared with answers to some of the more obvious questions, like why do you think you'd be suitable for the Royal Marines? And some had clearly not had much interview experience, but that's fine because to us, somebody who's a school leaver with bags of potential, but maybe rough around the edges, that's perfect for us because we want somebody who who we can mould into a Royal Marines Band's person of the future. Okay, Emily, that's great. Thank you very much. Why don't you come up and let's have a chat.
By the end of the day, only brass bander Emily is left. Nerves are high, as Emily is desperate for a place in the Royal Marines Band service.
It went really well. I think I felt comfortable with my answers. I wasn't struggling to find the thing. I tried to be as honest as possible, so I hope that came across.
For Adrienne, Jack and Emily, the week is now over. They'll receive their results from Major Williams the next morning, but it won't be until a phone call the following week that they are awarded a job in the Royal Marines Band.
I'm glad it's over. It's a thing that's been on my mind a lot over the past few days. That's the big sort of part of the week.
It was a lot more relaxed actually. Like I would have thought they would have, I don't know. The atmosphere was a lot more relaxed than I thought it was. It wasn't that strict. The chat was really chilled, so it wasn't that bad.
One of the hardest weeks of my life, but I've really enjoyed it. It's equally, if not more, rewarding afterwards.
Yeah, it's going to be nerve-wracking, still, to find out, but hopefully it'll be good news.
It sounds cheesy, but there isn't really an adjective which can describe how much I want it.
It's Friday morning, and all of the candidates have been summoned to the Director of Music's office. If candidates pass this audition, they will have to wait until the following week for a phone call awarding them a place in the Royal Marines Band service.
We only tell people on their last day whether they've passed or failed. We don't tell them whether they've been selected for the troop, because that's a fairly complicated business.
I've prepared for this for so long now. It's kind of to the point where not I want this job, but more like I need this job. It means everything to me. If I get in, I will be so happy.
Very well done.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed your flute playing.
Oh, thanks.
We enjoyed your sax playing too. There's definitely room for some development.
Yeah.
But very good. You passed all the elements. Great. So for now, congratulations.
Thank you,
You'll hear from us again next week.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. I feel amazing. Great. Just emotional, that's it. It's really emotional. Just waiting for Monday. I have cried a little bit, just a little bit.
With Adrienne successfully passing her audition and now awaiting a phone call, next up is Jack to see whether or not his ability on the French horn was good enough to pass him this week.
If this audition goes well, then I can say to myself that over the past few years, everything has gone well, and I've achieved what I've wanted to achieve for a long time. It means a lot to me, this job.
Good news. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
We're in the great position of having plenty of auditionees this year, so there's a bit of competition on Monday.
Jack has passed his audition, but now has to wait for his own phone call.
I still don't know what instrument I'm gonna get. Hopefully it's horn, but if it's any of the others I've auditioned on, I'll quite happily take it. So at the end of the day, I just really want to be here.
As each candidate speaks to Major Williams, there's a mix of results.
I don't mind delivering good news, but I don't particularly enjoy delivering bad news. There's a fair amount of that. I'm afraid it's not good news today.
Yes, sir.
I'm really sorry to disappoint you. We just think there are too many areas where you'd have too much work to do. I'm sorry it's not bad news, but really nice to meet you. If we have to spend the first 18 months sorting out his technical limitations and not making any musical progress, then it's too costly in time, really.
Last in is brass bander Emily.
It would mean that all the hard work I've put in, just practicing music and getting into it and playing in bands, I've got something from it.
Hi, come in. Good news, congratulations. You've passed the audition process. Some really terrific marks, 100% in your oral, 95% in the elements assessment. We really enjoyed your horn playing. You're a terrific player. You've got bags of potential. So hopefully we'll give you a call on Monday afternoon with an offer of a place in the Royal Marines Band Service.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks Emily. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Hopeful for Monday. Yeah. Obviously it's not anything solid yet, but yeah, I'm really pleased with how it's gone this week. So.
Major Williams now has the pleasure of informing those who've been awarded a job in the Royal Marines Band Service. It's the following week, and with all the candidates back at home, they're receiving a phone call to tell them if they've been awarded a place in the Royal Marines Band Service.
There's been some extremely strong candidates this year. Some very, very high quality musicians, right through to conservatoire graduates, candidates who have gone through the Duke of Edinburgh Award Scheme and achieved the Gold Award. I've heard the word park run said, at least a dozen times today, which is fantastic to hear, that our candidates are taking their fitness seriously. People generally come here very well prepared, and it's a good thing too, because it's a demanding week in preparation for a demanding period of training.
It's time for Adrienne, Jack and Emily to receive the news they've been waiting for, the prospect of a job in the Royal Marines Band Service.
Hello?
Adrienne, hi, it's Major Hugh Williams here.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm calling with some good news for you, hopefully. We'd like to offer you a place in the troop starting in September this year as an oboe player. Hello, is that Jack? I'm going to hopefully give you a good start to your holiday by offering you a position in the troop in September on oboe. So a bit of a leap from the French horn, but we discussed it at audition, and I think you are somebody who's capable and from our discussion willing to take on the challenge of a new instrument. Hi, is that Emily?
It is, yeah.
I'm calling to give you some good news. We'd like to offer you a place in the troop starting on the 9th of September as a French horn player.
Wow, thank you so much.
Adrienne, Jack and Emily all passed their audition and were awarded a place in the Royal Marines Band Service. They are currently undergoing musical training at the Royal Marines School of Music.